Hi, everybody. Um, I am Lashara Richardson. Formerly, I was Cornegay, but I just recently got married a year ago. So I am coming to you because I found out a lot of things. When you get to dig in and looking through the family history, you come up with things, right? So I had put a post on Facebook, which I've taken it down now. But um a family member had chimed in, and or not even chimed in, just put a heart or a love emoji on it. And it's crazy because I had been thinking about this person for like a week now, and had been on my mind. She had been on my mind for a while, but something just kept saying, call her, call her, call her. And one of my biggest things is being a procrastinator. So I'm growing, I'm learning. Sometimes when the Most High like put certain things on you, or it's like a nudge. You get a nudge. It's like, you can't be waiting. So I was gonna call her yesterday, pulled up the number and everything, read the past posts. I hadn't talked to this woman in 4 years. The last time I talked to her was 4 years ago, and that's crazy because time had went by so fast. And I'm fish. It doesn't feel like 4 years. It feels like way longer. So, like I said, the Most High nudge said to call her. Okay, so I called her because of the post. It brought up a lot of feelings that I had. This leads back to when I was younger. My mother did some things, orchestrated some things that caused me to be very promiscuous. And back in the day, everybody, sweeps everything under the rug, and they never get to the root of the problem. They never really questioned why I was the way that I was. Had they like tried to figure it out, or tried to come to my rescue, or tried to check on me, they would have realized there was something not right. So um how do I say this? Okay, so I am over such things because I had forgiven my mom. She since passed away. She passed away in 2020. Um, and thank goodness we were able to come to some type of understanding, or some middle point, which helped me. But if it wasn't for my now husband, it was my boyfriend then, and he just kept on me, and I always had an excuse why I could never confront my mother. It's like when you're the victim, it's like when it comes to molestation, when it comes to raping, when it comes to things like that, any type of sexual contact in the family or within other people outside of the family, it seems like the victim gets shamed as if they did something wrong. It was their fault. Well, why you running around here with this on? Or why you're dealing with grown people. You should not get on the child. And then there is times where the children do lie. I'm being honest. They're lying. They will lie on anybody. They will lie because they're not getting their way, and they don't realize how much that can damage somebody. But I lived with that for so many years. And like I said, if it had not have been for my boyfriend, or my then boyfriend, my now husband, I would have never got that understanding from my mother. I would have just avoided it. I always had an excuse. Oh, she was on drugs. Oh, this and all that. But that never would have sufficed. I resented my mother. I actually lightweight hated her because I didn't understand what was going on. How could you do something to your daughter? How can you not protect her? These women nowadays in this era, they don't protect anybody. They are only about themselves. And I'm sick of it. Just not. And it's always, oh, I'm about my bag, I'm about this, I'm about that. You about everything but your kids. You think you act like you like to come off like you're really taking care of them kids, but when they get to acting up, you send them motherfucking kids to their dads, because more than likely the dads want them. I know so many females that will keep the child from the dad because he's not paying child support. Baby, that's not the only thing. They are good. If you give them the chance to be a dad, they'll actually help you. And I know some dads that was willing to still pay child support, and just so they can raise their son. They deserve that. You deserve to do that. And I am a firm believer of DNA testing. I believe it should be non-negotiable. You get pregnant, if you want to have that baby, we need to know who that baby daddy is, because it goes back so far that women have lied, and any child in the marriage, they claim they have it that's with the government. That's because the government is in our stuff. But somebody gonna pay, right? And it's always the father. Okay, so why is it when these women do not raise their children, they're always, oh, I need some help, I need some money, I need this, I need that? Well, send them kids to their daddy. More than likely, the man is normally more stable than the woman. And you get better statistics when it's coming from a single parent father home than a woman. We don't know how it is to raise a man. You can't raise a boy into a man. You can raise a boy into a boy, like an adult boy, but he's still going to have your characteristics of a mom. He sees women all day of his life. 90% of his life, he sees women. You don't think that he would pick up any of those characteristics? And no, it's not cool for men to be soft. There is some that is, but that is not the normal. Our men shouldn't be like that. And the women shouldn't be big old it's like we switch places here. And you think it's okay. Instead of sending that child to his dad, because it makes you look bad. But as soon as them kids get to the point where you can't control them and they acting up and they ain't listening to you, now you want to call in dad. Now you want him to come and clean up your fucking mess when you should have just gave him the kids in the first place. Fuck how it makes you feel or how you think it makes you look. I would rather my son go with his daddy than for me to fucking sit there and struggle and for him to be with one parent. You are giving your children a disservice with only one fucking adult. You are not the mother and the father. You are only the mother. I don't care how you spit it, flip it, rub it down on the road. It don't matter. You are still a woman and you can only teach them women's things. And then y'all don't even know how to do that. A lot of us women weren't taught how to be women. So how can you teach them how to be a man when you don't even know how to be a fucking woman? And excuse my language, but a lot of this that's what y'all used to hearing. When I try to talk sweet and soft, you don't want to hear the stuff. You act like you don't understand what I'm talking about. But you can go on and hear Glorilla talking about barking on a fucking, barking on a tree or shaking her fucking pussy all over the place. Y'all hear that though. Y'all cool with that. That's my song. With your ghetto asses. It's just gross. That is no representation of a real woman. Yeah, did I do that shit? Yep, I did. But one thing about me, I told my son the truth. When he got of age, I told him all the fucked up shit I did. And even he tried to, I think in his heart, he felt like I did the best that I could. But ultimately, me having a better plan, you know, or me, I was quick to leave his dad. I don't believe his dad wasn't for me, but sometimes you gotta bite the bullet. You know, if he was good enough to make that baby with, he gotta be good enough to try to work something out. And I understand I wasn't always innocent. I wasn't. I was not. And that's the thing. Women, we are not, we don't want to be held accountable. We don't want to say the truth. So we'll try to make everybody feel sorry for us. When you have people in your corner, a way to pick out a good man is to go to someone, a man that you respect. A man that you respect, you go talk to him, and you talk to him and you listen. Listen. He's not trying to get in your pants. If it's somebody you respect, like a brother, a uncle, a male cousin, a father, a stepdad, or somebody that you respect and you look up to, you listen to this man, because they are not going to give you advice that's going to harm you, because it's not like they're trying to tell you something to get in your pants. They want to see you doing good. They want to see you protected. So they're going to give you the real life. The thing is, we don't want to listen. We want to do what the fuck we want to do. And that's why we end up in the predicaments that we are in. You wonder why you got 4 and 5 different baby daddies. You didn't realize you're not a good person to pick men. You can't pick men. We pick men off of our coochie cats. I'm gonna be honest. We pick men off of our coochie cats. If he can fulfill you, if he can knock that out the box, oh, that's who you want to be with. But you're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about, is he a good, would he be a good man? He's good. He's a great fuck. But is he a good man? Would he be a good man for your children if you were to have some? Would you trust him? You know, so that's the things that I'm saying. We have to go to men that we respect to get a good man. They see right through it. Just the same thing as when your brother or your cousin, and he bring a woman around, he'd be like, hey, fill her out. See what it is. So by us talking to that woman, and by a man talking to that man, we can pick up on things that we can't see on the outside. Like, all I'm looking at is he look good. He got this. He got a good. He know how to put it down in the bedroom, and that's more of the time. That's a lot of the shit. That's how we make our decisions on if this man can fulfill us in the bedroom. That's not the all be all, and that's a lot of the times that's how we get caught up in shit. Because the peen is delicious and you love it, and that's the problem, because it's not the right person. That person ain't gonna protect you. A lot of the times we know who we can call. Like, your car break down or something in the middle of the night, you know who the fuck you can call and who gonna come out. You also know who not to call, because you already know where you stand. And a lot of these people, if you just a hump, then you know not to call this man at no 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning if it ain't about no boom boom. If you ain't going over there talking about, I'm bringing my overnight, my spend the night bag, and we gonna get it on, then he don't want nothing to do with you. So it's up to us, and then our mothers too. A lot of the times they don't know. They haven't taught us. I had to realize, like, I wasn't taught how to be a woman. You get that stuff from your mother. Like, so, and I realized if it's a break, like, my mother's mother didn't like her because she got pregnant by a man, like, that I guess she didn't like. Or she got pregnant. She was over there hopping over the fence and got caught and got pregnant. Now you mad at the baby. It ain't the baby's fault. It's your fault. So I'm tired of y'all sitting up there like, well, you know, he is the daddy. Like, you don't know. And for the women who get upset when a man asks you to take a fucking DNA test, baby, bye-bye. And that's another thing too for the men too. I'm holding y'all responsible. If y'all ask a woman something, you know if she gonna be a headache. So if you don't like her, I would suggest don't put your peen with her, because the chances of her getting pregnant is gonna be high. The more toxic, the better the breeding grounds. So you are dealing with toxic females that will drain your fucking energy and take your soul and take you down with your kids. They don't like the fact that you was doing them dirty, so they assume and they'll put that on the kids. Got the kids hating you. You don't even know why the kids hate you. They don't have no business hating you. Now, you may have been a bad man to her, but that don't got nothing to do with you being a good father. That don't got nothing to do with you with him being a good father. We need to choose wisely. You need to vet these men. And by I say vet them, we can't vet them. You got to go to somebody. That's why I believe there was arranged marriages, because you're not going to hook your daughter up with no bum, right? Off rip. So if my son got qualities and your daughter got qualities, if they're good and they can be compatible, yeah. So we weren't taught the science of mating. We weren't taught the science of finance, mating, or warfare, because you will understand that those topics play a huge role in our community. And a lot of the time, since we're not taught a lot of this stuff, a lot of us just do what we want to do. And then you got all these other women, the aunties, the fucking toxic aunties of America. They be in the background like, girl, if he ain't got no money, and if he ain't giving you no money, then don't deal with him. And he ain't got all of this. Y'all, that's why they motherfucking asses is single. Keep listening to them and you gonna be the same. Why the fuck would you look at somebody who is in a bad predicament and listen to what the fuck they gotta say? They don't have no good advice for you. And a lot of the women that I know don't have no good intentions for their daughters. They don't got no good intentions for their nieces. A female, because they see themselves as that woman. They see themselves at that age as a woman, as a female. They see that girl, what they was doing when they was that age. See, men, they are more logical. For the most part, they're logical creatures, and that's why they tell they boys and they tell other men about what's going on, because they see themselves at that time and they want to make sure that they got the knowledge and the guidance so they won't make them same mistakes. Us as women, oh girl, go ahead, hump all the men you can in your 20s. You got some in your 30s, and then when you're 40 and you want to settle down, girl, you've been ran through. And then you mad that the men don't want your ran through ass and your only fan ass. And they have the right. I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit, because I would be the same way. It's not right. Y'all need to take accountability. And our families, they've been hiding so many things. I found out so much stuff today about my family. Oh my goodness, I found so much stuff out about my family, and it's crazy. Everybody always sweeping it up under the rug, You got your nasty ass uncles that's been molested, but y'all y'all don't cover the girls and keep her from them. Nah, y'all don't tell them the truth. Y'all just try to keep them a little bit away from her. No, tell them the truth about them fucked up ass motherfuckers. But let me tell you too, it ain't always the men. The women are more treacherous because they orchestrate the shit. Let me tell you what happened to my mother and me. Okay? So, my mother's mother didn't like her, like I said, because of the fact. So, they gave my mother away to my aunt. Now, the aunt used to have a juke joint in the back, right? Juke joint. So I remember my mother telling me when I confronted her about what she did to me, it was like she didn't even want to tell. I think she didn't want to really say what happened, but it came out because, no, you're gonna tell me why you did what you did. I need to have an understanding so I can understand, Ma. It wasn't that I was trying to shame her. I needed the truth. So I could figure out what's going on in my life. I couldn't figure out why I could never have a relationship. I couldn't keep a relationship. And then my mom was a big part, listening to her. I'm thinking when women get a certain age and they feel like they're not gonna have nobody, they start to train their kids. So I ain't gotta take care. I love you, but I don't have to take care of you. You my mother. You supposed to have it. You supposed to set me up so I don't need you. But a lot of these mothers will set up their daughters to the point where they live together. You think that shit is cool. No. You wonder why you can't keep no man. Because your mama. So the juke joint, my mother, said she was about 10, right? And she said they would fill one of those mason jars up like about halfway with liquor, right? Take her downstairs in the juke joint and do what they wanted to do with her. So to the point where she grew up, she was an alcoholic. Oh my God, my mom was an alcoholic, bad alcoholic. And she was on dope. She started dope when she was in her middle 20s. So up until I would say 10, maybe 10, 11, well, no, 10, because 10 is when the thing happened with me. So up until from when I was born, up until I say about 8, maybe, because my grandfather died before I turned 8. Sorry, I thought I heard something. Up until I was 8, my grandfather died, so I was with my grandfather. I was with my grandfather. My mom was probably off to the races. She wasn't smoking drugs then, but my grandmom and my granddad had me. So I stayed in the house. I stayed in the house for some years on Harvard. Then my mom came and got me. And it's crazy. That was the best day of my life. I thought it was the best day of my life until, we were living on Summer Street. And I'll never forget it. I remember her. She used to trick with this man named Mr. Emery Zetz. She called him Ed. He lived next door to the American Legion on Glenwood. That house is tore down. That bar is no longer there. But it used to be a white bar with all the veterans. And he used to go over there, and he was old, nasty white man. So my mom used to trick with him. So I guess, I don't know how they got on the situation, but basically I was sold over. Okay, so what happened was, she told me to come upstairs. I remember coming upstairs and I was 10. Hadn't even had my period yet. I was 10. He was laying on the bed naked and she was kneeled over the bed and she told me to come closer. She told me to come closer to the bed. And I'm looking there, I'm 10. So I don't know what the hell going on. But something didn't feel right, Something didn't feel right. But this is my mother. This is somebody I trusted. I thought that was my mother. She gonna show me nothing that's gonna harm me, right? Huh. So she started to perform oral sex on him. And she showed me how to do oral sex on this man. This old white man. Ugh. Yuckies. After that, then basically I became his. So, he would come get me and I would say, everybody, some people would question, some of the family would question. And I say, oh, I'm going to clean up. Yeah, he got knickknacks and stuff, which he did, but I never cleaned any of the knickknacks. That was just the fucking show. That was what I was supposed to be saying. So I would go over there, do what I did, get the money, come home. My mom would talk me out of it and go buy crack with it. So she was getting the money from that. And We was kicked out of so many places. I've lived in over 40 something places. I quit counting. I lived so many places. Couldn't figure out why I couldn't keep a relationship. Even when I got pregnant with Benny, and I told my son later on in life when he got older, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna tell you the truth, because it's not fair that you don't know. Yeah, when I was still with your dad, I was still doing it. I was still doing it. I had it in my mind that was normal. I had it in my mind it was normal. I was calling him, So I told my son everything because I have nothing to hide. That's what happened. And I told him why I did it. And actually I was happy that my sisters, we were split up, because I can understand how, when you're hurt and you're taught something that at an early age, you teach your siblings. So it was many times when I came back to my sisters and I told them, I'm happy we weren't living together, because later on in life, y'all would be coming to me telling me that I did this to you. I did that to you. And I'm so happy I didn't. I'm so happy we was split up. I'm happy I did have to go through that by myself. But I told my son the truth. And it's nothing I can't tell him that happened. I said, yeah, I was wild. But nobody ever asked me why I was promiscuous. Y'all blamed me. Y'all pointed at me like I was this horrible child. I wasn't. I was tainted. They did that to me. They changed me. And like I said, my husband got on me so much because I was just throwing it, she don't know no better. She was on drugs. She was drinking. She was this. She was that. It was always an excuse for her. We never confront our mothers. And we never get the side from our dads. We always we side with the mothers as if she did the best she could. What would have been best was her to leave me where the fuck I was. That would have been what was best. Okay? To leave me with my dad or send me with my grandmother. But don't send me back to the same motherfucker that did you wrong. Why would you do some shit like that? However, I was spared from her. But it was great. It didn't matter. My mother ended up turning out to do something to me. So my aunt didn't do nothing. It was the mother. She orchestrated it, set it up, and delivered. I was sold off. You know that song, For Women? And the third girl, Sweet Thing? That was me. My mama sold me off. I'm speaking my truth because it has to be known. I'm tired of people not questioning these women. My thing is, if these women are asking for child support, should there be a third party? If the woman ain't got the money to pay for the child and she getting it from the man, wouldn't it be better to leave the baby with the man? As if he has the resources. He has the resources, she getting it from him. And women let shit go. I read the book by Dr. Ali Shazar. And it's I noticed the things that she said in the book. It was true. How women they'll tell your daughters, don't tell daddy. Don't tell daddy you stayed out at night. Don't tell daddy you missed your period. Don't tell daddy this. Don't tell daddy I spent this money on this. It's always a secret, right? To dads. It's always a secret. It gives you that bond. It gives you a screwed up bond that you think is natural, but it's not. Tell your daddy. Your daddy should know. Why you keeping secrets from him? Why? Tell your daddy. I'm sick of women always getting down on the dads, calling them deadbeats. These women are sucker duck, bum, bitch moms. They ain't no moms. They are ops. A lot of our moms don't even like us. And you always looking for, and I realized going through my life, always looking, I always managed to cling on to older women. I was looking for that mothering. I realized, and I was normally a lot of the time, most of the time, I was the youngest. So it just made me feel like I wasn't getting it directly, but I was getting something because my mom couldn't give it to me because she never had it. You can't expect to get love from somebody who don't know love, who hasn't experienced love. Her mother hated her. So what you expect? It's time, people. It's time to start telling your story. And we as family, we need to tell our stories because there's times it's people who get adopted, like don't know what's going on. Like my sister, my one sister, she was a crack baby. And honestly, I feel like she probably should have went with another family. They kept her inside the family and raised her as if one of my aunts raised her as if it was her daughter, but she didn't want Brittany. She had her own 3 kids. And she had to work and work, and it was just, I don't know. It was just it wasn't that. I don't feel like she did it. I feel like she was probably made to do it. Um But that sister had some issues. We all had issues, but at the end of the day, I can say when I opened it up, I came at mommy and then like we all had a talk with our mother. And it's crazy how you're thinking that everybody's life is wonderful. On the outside you're thinking, um a lot of my sisters thought that I had an easy life because I had mommy. They didn't realize my life was hard. I was the mother. Our roles were reversed. A lot of the times with these mother-daughter relationships, a lot of the times these roles are reversed. I was the mother. I was taking care of mommy. I had to grow up. I've taken care of my baby sister. I've taken care of my stepbrother. Like, it's crazy. It forces you to have to grow up and be the adult, even at a young age. So that's why I believe when I got pregnant, that was another piece. That was a piece of me to love somebody and somebody to love you back unconditional. No matter how bad of a person you can be, your kids love you unconditional when they're young. They do. They love you no matter what. So it's like, you got to get that out of there. You got to. So the days of women not being accountable is dead. When a woman tell me something about her dad, I instantly say, have you talked to your dad? What gives your mother the absolute right that she was right all the time? No, our mothers is treacherous. When I say treacherous, I know some motherfucking mothers that's treacherous that was worse than mine. So treacherous, don't want nothing good for their kids, especially the daughters. Oh no, they don't want you to do better than them. That's a fucked up mentality. How can you not want your daughter or your son to be better than you? How? But they humans too, right? So when I'm saying, that's why I'm coming to you, and I'm saying this because it's time for us to get our stories out. We need to hear these stories because the days of sweeping shit under the rug has passed. It's now that fucking whole room is dusty. It ain't nothing but dirt up under that motherfucking room. You don't even need the rug no more. It's like this. It's top of it. It's time. So if you got some shit, you better address the motherfuckers while they living. I was happy to be able to address my mother before she died. So I was able to get an understanding. We was okay when she died. But I wasn't so fortunate to do that with my dad. My dad died in 2006 of liver and pancreatic cancer. He was an alcoholic. Our family, a lot of my family alcoholic. And honestly, I don't know. Maybe I got to the point where I was just like, well, I think it was because I started at an early age. My cousin was getting me into the bar at a younger age. So I was getting drunk, we was partying. Like I was wild. So when I got to a certain age, I was like, oh God. But you know what I think? The reason why I never became an alcoholic was because I did not want to be anything like my fucking mother. But the funny thing is about life, you're gonna be like your parents because you are a piece of them. You may not be directly, but how they raise you is how you will be in life, and how you raise it. It puts a big perspective, and it tells you decide how you gonna grow up or how you gonna be. Like I said, I wanted to be the best mother I could be. I was young. And I believe I was the best mother I could be at that age. But me and my son basically grew up together. Because they say every generation is 15 years. So I was 16 when I had him. Barely. Barely. 3 days. I had my birthday, and then he was born 3 days after. So, if you had not talked to your dad, if you had not talked to the other person, you need to talk to the other parent. And it's time for us to stop assuming and siding with women as if they're always the victims, because a lot of these women are antagonists. They started this shit. And it's not my fault I didn't start it, but it is my motherfucking responsibility to finish it. And by finishing it, that means to tell the truth. So just want you to keep in mind that the journey that you have, the journey that is given to you, is given to you for a reason. There has been so many things that has got me to this point that I didn't even realize it. It's like nudges, little nudges, because there's the things that have happened was too precise and too accurate to be coincidences. And I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason. And everything does happen for a reason. So that was just one of my stories. I will be coming on here regularly to try to divulge some of these issues that we have with this generation and the generations before. I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of travel nursing, so I understand. And also, I've been a public health nurse. I'm a recovery nurse, like a drug and alcohol recovery nurse, not because of an addiction from me, but it was from my mother. Pediatrics, long-term care, like you name it, I probably had my dibs and dabs in. And it's given me the wisdom to understand and to pick out certain things and realize how things go. When you guys start seeing, when you have children and they used to pee in the bed and you trained them, and all of a sudden they start peeing in the bed again, they've experienced some type of trauma. You better check your fucking children. I promise you. I'm tired of y'all acting like y'all don't know. Y'all too fucking busy with trying to make this money that I realize I used to work and 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 work. I'm gonna get this bag for my son. I'm gonna get this bag for my son. So the only thing I had to give him was items, material things. I didn't have the time. I couldn't really discipline him because I'm working 16 hours a day. How the fuck you gonna put a child on punishment when you at work 16 hours a day? Come on now. He ain't have to sneak out. Soon as I left, he could wait a little bit and walk right out the fucking front door. He didn't have to sneak. He didn't have to do anything. But he gave me hell, though. I realized that. He gave me hell. And I put him in situations that could have potentially fucked him up. And I'm saying this, not all gay people are pedophiles, not all regular people are pedophiles. But what I will say is, you have to be careful who you keep around your kids. If I wouldn't recommend you leaving your kids around gay men, because most of the time the reason why they gay is because they was touched, molested, or that shouldn't even be in children's vernacular. That shouldn't even be nothing. They shouldn't know nothing about none of that. And despite of how y'all want to make everybody feel welcomed and everybody included, like, I can love you, but I ain't gotta participate in your shit. I'm not. Certain things, that gay friend that I had around my son, he could have easily did something. He did not. Or at least my son ain't tell me he did. He did not. But I was in my own thing. I was doing my own shit. I was like, oh, he don't want no boy. He don't want no young boy. He want a grown man like me. Not realizing what kind of situation I put my son in. Possible. And then with even my mother and my stepdad and my husband now was saying, like, you shouldn't be having him around your son. And I'm like, oh, he don't want that. He don't want that. He don't want that. I'm like ready to go to bat, or I fuck him up if he did that. And my husband was like, well, you wouldn't have to fuck him up if you wouldn't even have him around. Which I put my son in that situation. I can take accountability now, but a lot of these women won't even do it. If you are so hard up, send them kids to their daddy. Send them kids to their daddy. But too many of these women want the money. They want the money, but they don't even really want the kids. They want that money. So I feel like DNA should be mandatory. And if she can't afford it, why the fuck should she keep the kid? Right? And we have the right, and when it comes to abortions and stuff like that, women always like, it's my body, my right. You motherfucking right. So if you allow this motherfucker to come in your temple, you gave him access. So then you want to turn around and talk about my body, my choice, and you want to kill off the babies. And I've had some. I ain't even gonna lie. I had some. I have had abortions. So you shouldn't want to kill your baby. You should really think about what you doing. When you hopping and jumping up and down and shit, that shit come with consequences. If you ain't trying to make no baby on purpose, then you should be something. You should be more careful. Or trying to trap dudes with babies. Come on now. Or dudes trying to trap women. That is your soul temple. That's your body. That's your responsibility. So what you allow come up in there, you got to deal with the motherfucking consequences. Simple as that. Simple as that. So it's time for us to stop covering shit up. And because I went to Cat Williams. We went to Cat Williams' comedy show. It was last year. Was it last year? It was last year. It was last year. And he was like, all truth is coming out. All of it. And it is. Why you think you seen all this information on TikTok and stuff on how to do stuff? and statutory and birth certificates and all of this stuff. Huh. Huh. Why? Because it's time. All this information is given. The Most High's divine guidance, he's protecting me to do my journey, to get this information. You don't know what I had to do to get this information, this research that I've done. You don't know. So start taking accountability for your fucked up ways and your ill decisions. And your ill decisions. And just thinking because a man come back for the cootie cat, that don't mean it's good. That don't mean it's good. I had to tell my sister that. No, it's available. It's ready. That's what it is. That don't mean it's good. And I said, I ain't never heard no woman say she got bad cootie cat. Never. Ain't never heard one up until this day. Everybody I say, this some good stuff. This some good stuff. Says who? You can't self-proclaim you to have good cootie cat. If it's good, he gonna want to lock that shit down in his mind. That's if it's good. He want to lock it down and make sure you're his. And that's another thing with women. We put the he don't run me, he don't on me, he ain't gonna tell me what to wear, he ain't gonna tell. Do you understand when they do stuff like that, they're protecting you? Because they know how other men think. Why you going out there with your titties hanging out and your pussy falling out and you just showing the whole world, but you talking about this your man? You look like a goddamn fool. Why would he protect you? He gonna put his whole life and he's putting his whole life in jeopardy to protect you from letting your pussy hang out. Not saying that it won't happen, like, but the what's the odds? A lot of the times, the women that get it taken it's exposed. So I remember being in Detroit, right? And the outfit I had on, it was tight as hell. It was tight fitting. You seen my booty was sticking out. But that's what I was looking for. I was looking for attention. And I was out there. I remember it was black and blue, and it was striped, and it fit my body. Oh, it fit my body, and I was chunks. I had some chunks in me. So one dude came up and smacked my ass. Whoo! And I looked at him. I mean, how you gonna feel some type of way? You exposing it. And I was. Y'all exposing it. Y'all come out there with everything exposed, and you want somebody to protect you. Protect yourself. Cover that up. You can be sexy and be covered. It's a difference between 304 sexy. That's 304 is nasty, raunchy. You're going out there with a fucking pins with nipple tags or nipple stickers on you. What the fuck is that about? What is that about? That's the only way you feel like you can get attention? Well, baby, if that's the only way you feel like you can get attention, then damn. What the fuck else you think you're going to get? So you think, well, okay, so then when you get to an age where you want to settle down, now you think somebody's supposed to respect you. You gets no respect. You done been ran through. You gets no respect. And people remember that shit too. So, I'ma just say, it's time to uncover. We going back down to the roots, because we're gonna get to the bottom of this shit. I'm talking about your roots down in the dirt. That's what we gonna do. So that was one of the things I had to talk about, or several things. This is just the first one. So let me know how you feel. LMK, let me know. I care. I really do care. And I'm not being rude or mean. I'm just trying to give you that guidance that a lot of us didn't have. Sorry, it stings a little bit when it's true. But if you think about it, if it's coming from somebody, I have nothing but the best intentions for you. For our women, for our young girls that's growing up, I have nothing but the best intentions. So I'm not going to tell you something that's going to put you in jeopardy. I want to tell you something that's going to protect you and pivot you. You can be a good woman. You can protect yourself. But you got to have morals. We got to have somebody that's going to represent us. And these Cardi B's, these Megan Him Stallions, these JT's, these raunchy Miamians, and all of this other weird shit, and these nasty ass women, those are hoes. And it's funny how you got you got women, they singing about shit, but do the fucking opposite. But do the opposite in their relationships. They telling y'all to be 304s, but this woman, no, you can't be no 304 to be married. You can't. That's not no good look. That's not the representation of a good woman, a good married woman. So, I love y'all. I hope you listen and really hear me. Understand that I mean nothing but love, peace, and blessings to you. And I want to see our generation be prosperous. And that I am not just for my generation, because a lot of y'all can't be saved. It's a done deal. I don't even want to try. There is no need to even attempt to say you already tainted. You're fucked up. You're too old to be changing anything. So I don't want y'all. I want the younger ones. I want to get into their head before y'all fuck them up. Because we know how tainted and evil you bitches can be. And again, yeah, I cuss. I'm a human being. I sure do. Because y'all don't seem to understand it the other way when I try to be sweet and loving and caring and rainbows and cupcakes and shit like that. Nah, baby. Nah, this is the real shit. Ain't no fucking cupcakes over here. Love you. Have a great night. From Roots Reunited, we're starting. Bye, loves.